Listen here. It's a terrible time for a mean old man. You got to get to heaven just as fast as you can. A long time forgotten about the good old days when a nail and a hammer got a poor man paid.
Okay guys, so we finished polishing the whole side of this front bonnet now. We have done 2 sets of compounding, so each set consisted of 6 crosshatch runs that took around 2 to 3 minutes. And then once we did that, we did the 2 polishing runs. The first polishing run being at speed 5 with moderate pressure, just enough, again the weight of the machine just pushing down on it, just enough so that you get a bit of weight going in there, but you're by no means putting loads of pressure down. And then a second polishing pass where you're running at speed 4 or potentially less with slightly less pressure, and that is giving us this nice finish where you can actually kind of read, if I get the focus right, where is it, there, you can almost read the writing around the lens cap. You can see all the microfiber. You can even see, if I get the focus right, my little bum fluff on my chin. So we now have a lovely restored clear coat on this side of the car, which I'm really pleased with. And if we compare that to what we had before, you know, I've got that really sharply in focus now on the panel. You cannot see the writing on the lens. You know, you still see my bum fluff on my chin, but it's all a bit blurry. I'm just trying to adjust the focus to try and get it clearer. But I mean, it's a no-brainer that we have one side of the car now corrected and polished to a good standard, really bringing the car alive. And once the whole car is done to this standard and then sealed and waxed, and we might even do a few coats of some sort of carnauba wax at the end, like R222 or something like that, this car is going to look fantastic. So I'm just going to cut out now and go back to the main camera. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. So the purpose of this video is to introduce you to the Flex 3401 VRG dual action polisher and demonstrate the use of that tool to do quite a lot of paint correction, you know, on heavily damaged paint, and polishing to bring that finish back up. And I think we've shown that we've got some really good results. I'm really pleased with what we've done. So I want to leave you with 4 points that I think are the most important thing for anyone watching this video. One thing I could never really show you properly without doing another camera piece is the amount of effort and time that went into prep on this car. The prep is so important. You know, the best thing I can say about that prep is, as well as just doing a really good wash, you know, with your pre-wash, whatever you use, snow foams, you know, pre-washes. When you're doing your shampoo stage and you're going over with your mitt, do that stage once, do it twice, maybe even do it 3 times, and pay a lot of attention down to the lower levels of the car. Once you've got it really clean, do a full decontamination on that car, both chemical decontamination for fallout removers, in other words, and tar and glue removers, and then clay your car. And go and research that on another video. I might do one at some point on how to decontaminate your car properly, because it's really important. So prep your car properly. That's the #1 thing. That's a foundation. Okay. Second thing, technique. So you can copy basically what I've done there with no problem at all. You know, it's quite a simple thing to do. I want to summarise it to make it easy. So you lay your product down at speed 1 first of all over your small target area. Keep it less than 2 foot by 2 foot. Don't go beyond that, sorry. Lay your product down. Once you've got a nice film of product, work it at a higher speed. So I was using between speed 4 and 5. Work that product for, I was doing 6 crosshatch passes in a set. And I was trying to stick to 2 minutes, but I think I was going way beyond that. But it's not a problem because of the compound I was using. Okay, and I did 2 sets of correction passes and 2 sets of polishing passes. If you're trying to reduce your amount of time, if you had to get rid of anything there, I could have got rid of the second polishing pass, but I would always tend to polish twice because I really like to get that crystal kind of sharp finish, which I think is important. Okay, so with that technique as well, so the important thing, lay your product down, up the speed, work it for how I've just said. Minimal pressure, no more than the weight of the machine, again, sitting on top of that machine. That sort of pressure is the maximum you'll ever want to go at. If you want to go lighter, you can, but that's the pressure I use. Don't ramp that thing up to full speed. You don't necessarily need to. Do a test area first to see if your 6 crosshatch passes are giving you the level of correction you need. Most often than not, you will not get all of your correction done with this flex in one set. When you're doing a test area, you might find that if the car's not got heavy damage, you can get it all done in one set. So if so, you might compensate on your technique, up your speed a bit, increase your pressure a bit, so that you can deliberately do the whole compounding of this car in one set. Well, making that decision is kind of the sort of things that when you gain experience, you will factor in. To start with, you could just say, right, I'm going to do 2 sets and 1 set of polishing, or whatever. You can be the judge of what you're going to actually do, but it's more to just show you the technique there. So technique is quite important. Thirdly, product. It is important. This can be very hard work if you're using crappy compounds. It really can. A crappy compound, after about a minute, will start drying up on you, possibly dusting on you, and also bedding down in the paintwork. I haven't used any detailer spray. You shouldn't need to with a good compound. If you're spraying product onto your, even if you're doing it onto your pad, the risks of splattering go through the roof for me. So why use a compound that you've got to you know, revive or lubricate and put water on, when there's great compounds out there that are really nice and oily but still have a great level of cut for correcting and a great level of finishing for polishing. So product is important. You could also opt to use cheap pads. With the flex, I would say don't, and go with, if you just get those hybrid power lake country pads that are 5-inch pads with a 4-inch Velcro backing plate size, they are great. The only place that sells them in the UK that I could find was Motor Geeks. No one else stocked these lake country pads in that size, so check Motor Geeks if you want them. And you need the flex adapter plate system to be able to support those pads. Well worth the investment, even though I think it's about 30 quid for that adapter plate system. Have the good quality microfibers that I was talking about. Have the IPA, you need it to do your inspection. So products are important, very important. Third thing, environment. Doing this outside, there's a lot of mobile guys that do this for a living because there's a demand for them to go and do this outside. But working outside is a really bad environment to do polishing in. In the summer, the main problem is you get heat in your panels. If there's any heat energy stored in those panels, put your product on top of it, the heat will just dry the product out. Even this Skull product that's really, really nice and heavily lubricated, it will still dry out. You can't polish if there's heat in your panels. So there you go. You also obviously can't really polish if it's raining. You can't really polish. You don't want to be polishing by the side of the road with cars going past you and dirt and things splashing around. And also the biggest problem with working outside is unpredictable light. So when you're working inside, you've got no wind, you've got no dirt factors, you can control the environment, keep it clean, and most importantly get a very bright light source. So I know it's not going to be possible for everybody, but I'm telling you, it is one of the most important things to do if you want to get good results. If I was giving one of my cars to someone to detail, I would only give it to them if they were working inside, because I've done paint correction outside. You can still get your compound on there, you can still work it, you can still get results, but it's not the right environment to do it. Okay, the last thing, I don't know if this is the 4th or 5th point, it's the 5th I think, but time. The more time you have to do this, the better results you get. If you rush, at least when you're starting out, the chances of everything going south on you and you making mistakes are so much higher. I've done this where I've been doing jobs for people where they've wanted their cars back, even though I don't do this professionally. And I've been working to time restraints and I hate it, and I struggle delivering results in quite short time frames. So that's one problem for me. The more time I have, the more I can really study and inspect the kind of paintwork I'm working on, and I can kind of just get better results. It's going to take me probably about another 3 days to do this car, and that's just the way I work. I could do it quicker. I can compound and polish a car in a day if you want me to, but the results are going to be limited by those time constraints. In fact, I wouldn't even like to try and do it in a day. I'd just end up making a mess of it. So time is the other really important thing. One other thing that I haven't mentioned is doing the bonnet is nice and easy. It's at a good height. You can get the light behind it. You can access it all. You can sort of let the polisher sit on top of the bonnet, and you haven't got to hold it. It's a different kettle of fish when you're polishing the side of a car and you've got to hold the weight of the polisher. Take the same approach. You know, if you start on the wing, you can break it down into two. Just perfect that, lay your polish out, work it, perfect that particular part of the wing, move on. The problem is all your muscles that you're using when you're down there are different, and it's a lot harder to try and bend over and kind of do this on the side. You need a stool with wheels on it, which I've got under here, so you can sit down and kind of support your body weight on the stool without having to kind of bend your back over. I wouldn't even try and polish a car if I didn't have a stool with wheels on it. Just me. So that's another really important thing. And again, you need an environment where you can move the stool around on the wheels. If you keep picking it up and shuffling it around on your bum, the polisher in your hand, you're going to drop the polisher. It's just all going to go wrong. So this is the kind of thing that anyone, I believe, can go and do at home, but you can either stack the odds in your favour of getting really good results and getting your car looking fantastic, or you can stack the odds in your favour of actually things going wrong. And then what happens is it's quite a lot of investment in tooling and money. It's a massive investment of time, and if you do it wrong, you will end up, that investment will actually, you won't get very good results and you'll be wasting your time. So you know, everyone wants to get good results. If you do everything I've just done, you'll get pretty decent results, probably even better than what I can do. So it's all about the mindset and following those basic rules that we've talked about in the video. I'm sure there's lots of things I've missed. Polishing cars isn't that difficult, but it just requires you to consider all the things we've talked about and take your time and work really carefully. So I'm hoping that didn't sound too patronising or condescending. We've all got to start somewhere. I started off and I've probably made every single mistake in the book at some stage, and I still make mistakes now. Don't know, maybe I shouldn't, but I do. But you will make mistakes. Try and enjoy doing this detailing. Be really pleased with the results you're delivering, and have fun. And if you've got any questions, let me know. But thanks very much for watching. We're going to do some more videos. Maybe we'll do a video on sealing and waxing cars, and then probably a video on using either the rotary polisher or the dual action polisher, maybe whichever one seems popular. So thanks very much.